Hello guys, welcome to Physics Hub. So today we'll be discussing once again Sunday set video. So this is basically your season 3. Okay, so in the previous two seasons we have covered up to set 51. So this is your set 52. Now those who don't know about Sunday set video, so Sunday set video is basically a set of 5 questions which is uploaded on every Sunday. The question paper is generally uploaded on our Facebook page few days before the day we upload the solution. So you follow our Facebook page Physics Hub 111. The link will be given in the I button or description or comment section. You can go and check out the links and you can follow our Facebook page to get all the updates. Okay, we keep on sharing good contents on our Facebook page, so please follow that page. Okay, so you have understood Sunday set video. So let's start. Before going to the set video, I would like to tell you something. So there is some update regarding our exam. So UGC CSIR NET June 2020 exam has been postponed. The HRD minister has already clarified that the exam will not be conducted in June. The exam will be conducted in the month of July. So prepare accordingly. So let's start with our Sunday set video. Let's start with the first question. The first question reads like this. The moment of inertia tensor of a shaft is given by this expression I equals to this. If shaft is rotational about z axis, then the torque about O is given by. Now look, in the previous two seasons of Sunday set video, we used to upload only solutions. But now onward, now in season 3, what we are going to do, we will be giving some hints also, some basic theory to solve the problem, so that you can get some help in solving these questions. Okay, so that will be really helpful to you. So let's see what are the hints. So yeah, what is given to you? You are given some moment of inertia tensor and the rotational axis is z. Okay, so let's discuss about some little bit theory. Angular moment, if you are given some rigid body like this, okay, P is some point of mass mi and which is situated at some position vector ri. Then the angular momentum and inertia tensor we are discussing. Vi equals to omega cross r. This is given to you. Angular momentum of P about the point O is given by Jp equals to r cross mb, ri cross mi vi. So ri cross, now V equals to omega r, so omega cross ri. So if you write it in terms of these components, you can write it in this way. And look, this is basically the formula of A cross B cross C. So A cross B cross C, the formula is back into cap, okay? B into A dot C minus C into A dot B. So this is the formula of A cross B cross C. So we get this moment of inertia tensor Jx, Jy, Jz. So this is your moment of inertia tensor. So this is some little bit theory before discussing the solution, where this Ixs is given by sum over I mi yi square plus zeta square. Iy is given by this, Izz is given by this. You can pause the video and note down these formulas. So I am quickly forwarding. These are called product of inertia. These cost terms are called product of inertia, and these diagonal terms are called moment of inertia. Okay, and the kinetic energy of a rigid body is given by this. Now let's discuss the solution of this question. So what you are given? You are given the moment of inertia tensor. Okay, this middle one is given to you. Now you have to find out the torque. So we know that the formula for angular momentum J equals to I into omega, and torque tau equals to omega cross G. Okay, now if somehow we can find out this J, we can easily find out the torque. Now J can be found out. We have given you formula Jx, Jy, Jz. Okay, so we have just written the equation. Now what we have to do? We have to put the values. Here these things are given. Ixx is 6 ma square. So we have just writing this. Now the rotation is about z axis. So only z component of omega will be there. So 0, 0 omega. here we can write it as omega is a vector omega x I cap plus omega y j cap plus k cap. Okay, so this can be written as only omega into k, because the only component which is there is the z component of omega. So if you calculate this, if you evaluate this, you get j equals to twice m a square omega I cap plus twice m a square omega k cap. Okay, now what we can do, so we have found out j, so this is your j, so therefore the omega tau value will becomes tau equals to omega cross j. Okay, so we are writing it like this: I cap, j cap, k cap, and component of omega 0 0 omega, because only z component is there, and component of j is twice m a square omega, and k component is there twice m a square omega. Okay, so if you evaluate this, you get, so I am writing it here this point. Okay, to find out the determinant, so you find out the cost product basically, so you will be getting twice m a square omega square j cap. Okay, which is matching with option B. So option B is the correct option. Okay, so correct option is your option B. Okay, so let's move forward to the next question, question number 2. This question reads like this: an annulus of mass m made of a material of uniform density has inner and outer radii a and b respectively. Its principal moment of inertia along the axis of symmetry perpendicular to the plane of the annulus is, and you are given 4 options. So let's look at the hint what is there for this question. So first of all, moment of inertia. So moment of inertia of a system of particles about an axis of rotation is defined like this: I equals to sum over I mi ri square for discrete cases. Okay, where mi is the mass of each point particle and ri is the perpendicular distance from the axis of rotation. Okay, so if you have some axis of rotation like this, okay, and you have some discrete masses like this, so you have to find out these masses and the distance of these masses from the rotation axis. Okay, ri. Okay, so in this way we can find out the moment of inertia for a discrete distribution of masses. For the continuous distribution of masses, this formula is modified like this: I equals to r perpendicular square dm. So here the distance is taken perpendicular, means if you have a mass m here and if you have rotation axis like this, you have to take the perpendicular distance to find out the value of r. You cannot take this distance or this distance, you have to take the perpendicular distance. Okay, here dm is the elementary mass and r perpendicular is the perpendicular distance of elementary mass from the axis of rotation. Okay, this is your hint. So let's discuss the solution of this question. So what we are given, you are given this is your answer. Okay, so you are given some annulus of mass m made up of uniform density has inner and outer radius a and b respectively. So let's draw a circle of radius a. Okay, sorry for my drawing, I am always sorry for my drawing. So this is the inner radius a and the outer radius is given by b, and this annulus has mass m. So this is the thing, this is the situation you are given. The principal moment of inertia along the axis of symmetry. So this axis, about this axis, this is your axis of symmetry. So this is your axis of symmetry. So you have to find out the moment of inertia about this axis of symmetry. How will you determine this? Okay, let's take something like this, the distance apart. So consider circular disc of radius r and thickness dr with rho as density. Okay, then your moment of inertia becomes r perpendicular square into dm. Okay, this is the formula for moment of inertia. I have already told you that. So here it becomes r square, and the value of dm is, look, the area enclosed in the annulus is 2 pi r dr. So you have taken a circular disc of radius r and thickness dr. So the area is 2 pi r into dr. If you multiply with the density rho, then it will give you the infinitesimal mass dn. Okay, so it will become, so 2 pi rho is constant and taken outside, r cube dr. Now what will be the integration limit of r? Look, it has inner radius a and the outer radius b. So the radius will integration limit will be from a to b. Okay, a to b. So therefore it becomes 2 pi rho r to the power 4 by 4, limit goes from a to b. So this is equals to 2 pi rho by 4 into b to the power 4 minus a to the power 4. Now what is unknown here? You are given mass m. Here rho is unknown. So rho, how can we find out rho? Look, m equals to area into area density. So area is pi. What is the area of this annulus? Pi into outer radius minus inner radius. So this is the effective area of this annulus. If you multiply it with rho, you will get the total mass. So from here you can find out rho equals to m by pi into b square minus a square. Now if you put this value of rho into this expression, you see this pi is cancelled out and 2 and 2 get 2. So m by 2 and b to the power 4, from here you can write b square plus a square, and b square into b square minus a square. So b square minus a square and b square minus a square will be cancelled out. So it will become m by 2 into b square plus a square, which is matching with option D. So option D is the correct option. So correct option is option D. Okay, so let's quickly move forward to the next question. So if you have any confusion or query regarding these questions, you can comment down. I will try my best to explain them. The third problem reads like this: two bodies of equal mass m are connected by a massless rigid rod of length L lying in the xy plane in the center of the rod at the origin. Okay, if the system is rotating about the z-axis with the frequency omega, with what will be its angular momentum? So how can we solve this question? So first let's discuss the situation. The situation is like this. The system is rotating about the z-axis, and this is your xy plane and this is your z plane. Two equal masses of m are connected massless rod, rigid rod of length L lying in the xy plane. Okay, so let's say this is the rod, L by 2 on this side, this is mass m, L by 2 on this side, this is mass m. Okay, this is L by 2, this is also L by 2, with the center of the rod at the origin. The center of the rod is lying at the origin, you can see. Now the system is being rotated about the z-axis with some frequency omega. Then what will be its angular momentum? So this is the case. Now since rod is massless, that is given, so m equals to 0. Okay, so moment of inertia of the system will become I equals to m1 r1 square plus m2 r2 square. This is the formula of moment of inertia. Because this is a case of discrete case, so sum of mi ri square I have already given you the formula. Now here we are given that m1 equals to m2 equals to m, and r1 equals to r2 given equals to L by 2. So therefore I becomes 2 into some constant m, and r is L by 2 whole square. Okay, so basically becoming half m L square, half m L square. So once you know I, we can easily find out the angular momentum J equals to I into omega. So I is given by half m L square and omega is omega. So it is becoming half m L square into omega. So which is matching with option B. So option B is the correct option. Okay. So let's move forward to the next question, question number 4. Now before going to discuss this question, I would like to tell you, you can join our WhatsApp group and Telegram group also. That Telegram group link will be given to you, and you can join WhatsApp. You can send me message on this number 9609090334. This is your WhatsApp number. You just send your name, okay, city, and the exam you are preparing for. Then I will give you the link. Actually, I am not sharing the link publicly because many spammers are joining the group and spamming the group. That's why I have taken this measure. So you can send me your name, city, and the exam you are preparing for. Then I will give you the WhatsApp group links for Physics Hub. Okay, so let's for the time being, let's discuss this fourth problem. The fourth problem reads like this: a pendulum consists of a ring of mass m and radius r suspended by a massless rigid rod of length L attached to its rim. When the pendulum oscillates in the plane of the ring, the time period of oscillation is. Okay. Now before going to discuss the solution, I would like to give you some theory behind it. So parallel axis theorem, first of all, parallel axis theorem, what does it state? Parallel axis theorem states that if IC be the moment of inertia of an object about an axis passing through its center of mass, if this is the center of mass, then IC is the moment of inertia about the axis passing through the center of mass. Then the moment of inertia about any other parallel axis, parallel to this axis which is passing through the center of mass. So let's say this is the axis, some parallel axis, which is at a separation D. Okay. Then the moment of inertia about this axis, this parallel axis, will be given by I equals to sum of IC plus m into d square, mass of this object into the separation between these two parallel axes. Okay, where m equals to mass of this object. This theorem is valid for all type of objects, 1D, 2D and 3D. Perpendicular axis theorem, this theorem is applicable for 1D or 2D object. It states that if x and y axis lie in the plane of the object, so this is the object which is lying in the xy plane, okay, then and the z axis is perpendicular to this plane. Okay, so you can see this z axis is perpendicular to this plane. Then we can write it that the moment of inertia about x axis, I axis will be IZZ will be equals to sum of the two perpendicular axis moment of inertia, Ixx plus Iyy. So if you know the moment of inertia of Ixx and Iyy, then you can easily find out the moment of inertia about a perpendicular axis Izz, which will be sum of these two moment of inertias. The three axes must intersect at some common point like this. However, there is no condition as such that the axis should pass through the center of mass. It can be passed through any other point. Therefore, the axis may or may not be passed through the center of mass. Now, let's look at the problem. What is given to us? You are given a pendulum. Okay. So let's try to understand that. Let's try to understand the situation. So this is your support. So let's change the color. So this is the support, and you have a pendulum which consists of a ring of mass m and radius are suspended by a massless rigid rod of length L. Okay, so this is your length L, and this is your ring, and which is having some mass m and radius r. Okay, so this is your radius r, and this length is L. Okay, attached to its rim. Okay, so it is attached to its rim. When the pendulum oscillates in the plane of the ring, so it will oscillate like this in the plane of the ring. Okay. Then what will be the time period of this pendulum? So let's say the pendulum is going in this position. Okay. So this is the pendulum now. This is R, and this is also L. Let's say it makes an angle theta with this vertical line. Okay, and this is R, and we are drawing a line like this. Now how can we find out the time period? Now the moment of inertia about pivotal point. Here this is the pivotal point that is given by I equals to I with respect to center of mass plus m into d square. This is we know from parallel axis theorem. Okay, so ICM for them if you have a ring, then the moment of inertia about its axis is given by m r square. Okay, if this is the radius r, then the moment of inertia is m r square. Now plus mass into d square, mass into, so we are calculating about the pivotal point. So the distance is L plus R. So L plus R, okay, square. So this is the moment of inertia about this of this ring about this pivotal point. If ring is displaced, if ring is displaced by some angle theta, okay, that we have shown here, then it will acquire some potential energy. Then potential, so let's go to the next slide. Potential energy is, look, this was the case, and this is the present situation where you have this L and this radius is R. So let's say this is the origin, okay. So the points below it is negative. If this is your axis, so you are going below the origin, means the values will be negative. So the potential energy will be minus mg, and what is this height? This height, okay, this height. If this angle is theta, this is L plus R, so it becomes L plus R cos theta. So let's say this is A, this is B, mgh, and as it is as the distance is in the negative y direction, we get minus mg, so minus sign is there. So we can find out the Lagrangian. The Lagrangian is given by, how can we calculate the Lagrangian? Lagrangian given by T minus B, okay. So kinetic here, energy here is the rotational energy, okay. So that is given by half I theta dot square, because it is not showing any translatory motion, it is showing only rotational motion. So kinetic energy, rotational kinetic energy, half I theta dot square minus this V of theta, potential energy, okay. So that is written by half I, we have found out already. I has been found out, m r square plus m into L plus R whole square. So we'll just put the values here. So m r square plus m into L plus R whole square, okay, and theta dot square will remain as it is, okay. This is being quite lengthy calculation, but anyway we'll do it. This is very easy problem basically, the calculation is easy if you know this. Now we'll apply the Euler-Lagrange equation. Euler-Lagrange equation, what is that? d dt. Here only one theta, only one coordinate is the generalized coordinate d dt of del L del theta dot minus del L del theta, that is equals to 0. Okay, so if you calculate this thing, you will get m r square plus m into L plus R whole square, okay. Now into the derivative of theta dot is 2 theta dot, theta square, 2 theta dot, and 2 is there, will be cut, so it becomes theta double dot plus mg into L plus R sin theta, this is equals to 0. So derivative of cos theta is minus sin theta, and minus sign is also there, so it becomes plus. So this is the equation we get. Now for small oscillation, okay, here I am writing, for small oscillation sin theta is approximately theta, okay. So we can write it like this. So we can remove this part, and we can write in place of sin theta we can write theta under this approximation. Okay, so it's basically and if you take this constant here under this, so it is appearing in this form theta double dot plus omega square theta equals to 0. So this is the well known form of simple pendulum, where this omega square is given by this, we have already found out. So comparing these two equations, we can find out omega equals to root over this omega t equals to, t will be equals to 2 pi by omega, and that is will be equals to, if you calculate, so 2 pi into 1 by omega, it becomes 2r square plus 2rl plus l square. We just check the calculation. I have already shown you explicitly into g into r plus l, and which is matching with option C. So option C is the correct option. So this was a relatively tough calculation. So I think it is clear. And if you have any question, you can ask. Okay, so let's talk about question number 5. This is the last question of this set. The moment of inertia tensor of a rigid body is given by this. The magnitude of the moment of inertia about an axis is. Now this question can be easily solved if you know the theory behind it. So the theory is given by the moment of inertia about a given axis is given by I equals to n cap I n cap, where n cap is the direction which is found defined by alpha I cap plus beta j cap plus gamma k cap, and if you expand this, you get ixx alpha square plus iyy alpha beta square izz gamma square, and this ixy iyy izz ixy iyz izz, these are the components of moment of inertia tensor. I have already introduced this moment of inertia tensor. Okay, so let's solve this problem. So the moment of inertia, magnitude of moment of inertia about the axis, here your alpha beta gamma is given by this. Alpha is here half, beta here root 3 by 2, and gamma here is 0. Okay, so the magnitude of moment of inertia about this axis n cap is given by I equals to n cap dot I n cap. Okay, so that is equals to ixx alpha square plus ixy beta square, iyy beta square plus izz gamma square plus 2ixy alpha beta plus 2iyz beta gamma plus 2izx gamma alpha. Now everything is given. Ixx is 8. Okay, so 8, and alpha is 1 by 2, 8 into half square plus 4, iyy is 4 into root 3 by 2 whole square plus izz is 8, gamma is 0, so 0 square plus 2 ixy is 0, so we don't need to calculate many other things, so it will become 0 plus 2 into iyz, this is also 0, I am not writing it again, plus two into minus 4 into 0 into half. Okay, so this is basically becoming 2 plus 3 equals to 5, and this is matching with option B. Okay, so today in this set video, in set 52, we have discussed 5 problems from rigid body dynamics. So in the next Sunday set video, in next Sunday we will be uploading questions from any other topic, I'll post the questions before on our Facebook page, so follow the Facebook page. Now I would like to have some announcement that Physics Hub is now on Unacademy. You can join these free special live classes on Unacademy. It is conducted on every Monday, Wednesday and Friday from 9:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. Okay, 9:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. at night for 1 hour class. Okay, basically we are focusing on CSIRNet 2020 June. So you can attend these classes for free. What you need to do, you need to install the Unacademy Learning app, and you can join freely without any cost. Okay, and in case if you want to take plus subscription, you can take plus subscription This is our referral code Physics Hub. If you apply this referral code, Unacademy will provide you 10% discount on overall fees. So this is our profile. Please follow the profile. And thank you very much to all of you for joining with me today. And if you have any question, you can write down in the comment section. I'll try my best to answer them. And finally, thanks for watching.